Ramblers trailed big in the first half. They were down, boy, I want to say 15-3 at one point, something ridiculous. They trailed by 13 in the second quarter, trimmed it to 8 at the half, and then went on a 21-0 run in the third quarter. And they have been in control ever since, as we're going to get a foul call against Nate Peters, who has checked into the game for Montebello. 50-36 our score now. It has been I got to do the math, 30-8 run in the second half. And basically, since they trailed by 13, a 35-8 run by the Ramblers. That is an impressive turnaround. And you have to give credit, I'm sure, Coach Copeman and his staff, whatever adjustments they made at halftime. And I think if we're observing this, I think I should let you speak for yourself, but I feel like the biggest adjustment they made was the immediate double teaming of Connor Riley, trying to come to him from behind. They got quite a few back pocket steals, if you will, as Caden McGillis misses the free throw. Riley with the rebound, and it's been very effective in the second half.
Absolutely no question there, Jay. And again, Montebello is going to start dialing up its full court pressure as McBain commits yet another foul. Again, from here on out, shooting are common. They are at the line for 2. Connor Riley shooting 2 at the line. And make or miss, guaranteeing we see the Montebello Mustangs with full court pressure.
Connor Riley, I'm going to go ahead and call it an uncharacteristic miss from the line. He does not strike me as somebody who is too poorly. I would say that if there's any weakness in that kid's game, it is his jumper. His jumper is a little chesty, a little from below the chin.
Low release, yes, I would agree with that. I noticed that, Jay, yes.
And he looks like a strong kid as he makes the second free throw. He looks like a very strong kid, so I wonder if that's just a technique issue. I could see that being corrected at the next level.
No question about it, no question.
2.5 minutes remaining in this one. 50-37, McBain trying to put it away. Connor Murphy over the timeline, harassed by Riley, and Riley got the steal, but they're going to call the foul as he came around behind him. And that's a tough one, I'm sure, if you're Connor Riley or your head coach Jared Simon, excellent last name, coach, of the Mustangs. You're probably wondering why that bit of contact is called when you consider the kind of contact we've seen all night. And Daniel Rodenbaugh nearly lost his head on a rebound at one point, no call. So it's interesting. As I said, it's the toughest job in the universe. It's so thankless. I was just reading an article about Rick Pitino, of all people, who is coaching in Greece as Connor Murphy makes that first free throw. I don't know if you knew this or why you would necessarily pay attention to Rick Pitino, but he is, after being dismissed from Louisville and taking a year off, he's now coaching in Greece. And this article was talking about what it's like, how intense the rivalry is between the two major basketball clubs in Greece as Murphy misses the second. Referees are routinely threatened by their lives as Lopez with the 3. Eder Lopez, the sophomore, off the bench, knocks down the triple. Justin Camphouse wide open right baseline, no good. Weak side board, though, Logan Rodenbaugh. And Rodenbaugh is going to draw the foul off the back of the head there as he lost the ball, but it may have been partially because of the concussion as he went up. But at least, and I'm not saying that there aren't idiot parents that probably don't want to threaten the lives of our officials, but these guys are not paid much to do this. They travel all across the state. They work very hard to stay up on the rules, and they do the absolute best job they can. And they deserve our respect, because if you think you can do better, get on out here and prove it, right?
And the pool, Jay, for officials is dwindling. I think the average age, I want to say, is upper 40s, low 50s. So, again, there is a shortage of officials statewide.
Yep. They absolutely are. Logan Rodenbaugh drains them both, 53-40, 2:05 remaining in this one as Connor Riley, little inside-out game against Camphouse, frees himself up. Long 3, comes up well short, well contested. And now on the other end, Devin Morris will lay it up and in. Garrett Verberkmos wanted the oop. I could see it in his eyes. He was coming free down the middle of the lane. Devin Morris took the layup instead. I could have pulled out my boom shakalaka. Oh, well.
Ramblers want to play great defense without putting them at the line.
R.J. Newman, there's a nice look across the lane. Little lefty layup by Garrett Cheney, who has 5 in the quarter. 55-42 McBain. Morris, wide open, will not take the 3. And now Connor Riley will commit the purposeful foul on Camphouse.
Coach always said free throws win games. If we do two things, hit our free throws and take care of the basketball, it's almost academic at this point, Jay.
Minute 27 remaining, and Camp House will go to the line. And in and out on the first. That is the stage of the game we have reached. 13-point deficit in a minute and a half is pretty large, but it is not insurmountable. We will not see, I'm sure, a wave of substitutions just yet for the Mustangs. They are not turning in yet, as Camp House misses both. And then Logan Rodenbaugh had the rebound and then lost it and then had it and then lost it again. And unfortunately, that's going to go off Connor Riley, and it's going to be Rambler basketball. I say unfortunately because Connor kind of came into it late. That battle for the ball going on the far side came to Riley and could not pick it up. As we get some substitutions, Lippert checks back in for the Mustangs.
Great job of both teams going at it right there again. That was a scrum under the basket.
Chase Pilkus is checked in for the Ramblers, and now here's a loose ball. And that is actually going to go off of the Mustangs, apparently.
Stays Rambler ball, sideline out of bounds.
Connor Murphy didn't know it. He was sprawled out trying to save it. Murphy will inbound to Camp House, back to Murphy. Murphy now dribbling top side. Swings it over to Pilkus, and Pilkus will get the foul call as Jordan Mawerder going by him will commit the foul. And now we're going to get more substitutions for the Mustangs, but these are all players who have been in, so this is not a capitulation substitution. This is Pulowski, who can't commit a foul, or he comes off the floor, checking back in. Pilkus misses the first, so the Ramblers not helping themselves right now, Dan. They're not knocking down the free throws that they need to here. The lead may just be too large. 55-42 with a minute 14 to go.
Yes, and again, down the stretch, you have got to hit your free throws down the stretch. Pilkus hits the second. Big free throw for the senior, Chase Pilkus. Excellent job of stepping up and hitting it.
56-42 McBain, minute 10 left as Riley still being double and triple teamed. Nice look across the lane, though, for Garrett Cheney. Garrett Cheney lays it up and in. And then Lopez will commit the foul on Connor Murphy, who will go to the line for two. And Connor Riley is probably saying, listen, guys, you're up by 15. There's a minute and a half left. Just let me work one-on-one with somebody.
You mean instead of 1-on-3? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. The Ramblers, whatever was said to them at halftime, have taken it to heart and refused to turn it off.
I guarantee the Ramblers would say, but you don't know what our coach said at halftime and how he said it.
Exactly. Exactly. No question about that.
Connor Murphy missing the front end of his two-shot foul. Again, foul's on the floor. Mustangs in the double bonus. Second shot up and good for the sophomore, Connor Murphy. Daniel Quist replacing Connor Murphy as he heads to the bench. Again, Ramblers picking up token man, so Montebello can't roll the ball in conserve time.
Riley will bring it over half court. Lopez open for three, right wing. Back iron, no good. Garrett Verberkmo skies for the rebound. Quickly up ahead to Quist. Quist cut off by Lopez, but finds an open Mason Hooker, who gets into the books with the lay-in on the far side. And now we're going to get a timeout from head coach Jared Simon. And I think now, with 40 seconds remaining, you will see the substitutions.
Both crowds applauding, realizing the inevitability of the situation. Again, Ramblers dialing up the pressure in the second half. I can tell you one thing. Connor Riley, impressive, but I guarantee whatever his final point tabulation is, some of the toughest of his career, the Ramblers absolutely getting after him.
At least 17 minimum. I'm missing 3 points from the first quarter. I'm not sure where those were, but 17 points at a minimum for Connor Riley. But as you mentioned, they have come tough. He did hit 2 threes in the opening quarter, had 2 other buckets, and it just looked like he could do whatever he wanted. He had another field goal in the second quarter, but that halftime adjustment, I genuinely think if we get a chance to talk to Coach Coleman at any point in time, I think Coach Coleman would tell us that that was the big adjustment, to double team Riley and to take the ball out of his hands, force the others to beat them. And it was beyond effective, that 21-0 run in the third quarter, proving it out.
No question, Jay. And as they say, you definitely know that Riley is the straw that stirs the drink. Ramblers taking that straw out of the drink. Trevor Bode. Ramblers with some substitutions here. Riley still in the game.
As a senior, I can see that. Taking Bode off the dribble, and they're going to call the foul outside. So Riley will go to the line for a pair of free throws. I'm not sure he even knew what to do when he realized he only had one defender. He's probably a little surprised. Beal City Athletic Director Aaron Butkovich walking by us. Our sincere thanks to the Beal City athletic staff. This is
I believe Connor Riley, if he makes this free throw, will come out. There is a player at the table.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Waiting for the shooter. Apropos, giving the senior well-deserved recognition, a standing ovation from the Montebello faithful.
Absolutely.
Hugging the coaching staff. Difficult times playing your last game. Everyone remembers it.
59-46, 30 seconds remaining in this one. Owen Bonico, who has checked into the game, will swing it over to Ethan Barton. Back to Bonico on the baseline. Ball kicked out of bounds by Nate Peters, and so the Ramblers will inbound. Chase Pilkus, as well as Trevor Bode and Mason Hooker on the floor right now for McBain to close this one out. Pilkus will get it in to Barton. Turns, elevates, can't get it to go. Barton, though, the rebound put back, no good. Hooker, the rebound put back, no good. And then Bonico trying to retrieve on the far side, can't get it to go. That is a lot of height coming off the bench even at the end of a game between Barton and Hooker, basically having their way with the rebounding on the other end. 7 seconds left as the ball over half court. Caleb Thiessen, the freshman, will dribble out the season for the Montebello Mustangs because the McBain Ramblers have a 59-46 win over the Montebello Mustangs, and they advance to Friday's district final. We'll take a moment, collect our stats and thoughts. The Northern Truck Service postgame show is coming up right after this.
The harsh northern Michigan winter is right around the corner, and that's why you need to heat your house with Holton's LP Gas. Call them today at 231-839-4600. You can contact the office for specials today. And if you're a new customer, they have specials for you as well. Holton's LP Gas has been in Lake City for 30 years, and don't worry, they service the entire listening area. They've got 24/7 live, trained professionals. Holton's LP Gas is a proud sponsor of McBain Athletics.
When it's late, when it's snowing, when you just have to have it. It's nice knowing McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain is open 7 days a week. Locally owned and operated with the friendliest cashiers helping to serve your grocery needs. From candy and chips to pop and munchies, McNally's Party Store, they're still keeping it cold. And wishing the McBain Ramblers good luck in tonight's game. That's McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain, open 7 days a week.
McBain Rural Agricultural Schools offers a quality, well-rounded education for the whole child. McBain students have a technological head start from the beginning with their own issued MacBook or iPad. Rambler students are immersed in strong curriculum, including access to a large variety of vocational programs, a winning athletics program, and access to a new state-of-the-art performing arts center. Challenging competitive times require a challenging competitive education. Give your child the McBain advantage. McBain Rural Agricultural Schools.
Boonstra Construction, a name you can trust. That trust starts with a family tradition passed down from father to sons. That's not something you hear nowadays, but it is very refreshing. Daryl Boonstra taught his sons the value of hard work, professionalism, and most of all, old-fashioned honesty. So when you're looking for someone to build or remodel your dream home, skip the games and lies, avoid the misleading quotes and missed completion dates, and go with a name you can trust. A name that is a family tradition of quality and experience in the greater Cadillac area. Go with Boonstra Construction. Give Daryl a call, 231-825-4043. That's 231-825-4043. Boonstra Construction, McBain, Michigan.
And welcome back to the Bermuda Triangle of the Highland Conference, Beal City High School. I say that with love and affection. I love calling games here from Beal City. Normally, we never have any technical issues, but we have had some in this game. Nothing the fault of Beal City or its athletic department. They have been fantastic. Aaron Butkovich, the athletic director, always a very gracious host, and we thoroughly enjoy coming down here to make the trip to call games when it's Beal City or when it's districts, as in this case, the McBain Ramblers And the Montebello Mustangs have finished their district semifinal 59-46. The Ramblers storming back from a 13-point deficit late in the second quarter to roll to a district final on Friday night. They will play the winner of the game that is about to go on here in Beale City. The Aggies and the Farwell Eagles. The Aggies, of course, the Ramblers played twice, beat them twice, but one of those, a one-point game. And so they will be a very tough draw should they advance past Farwell, playing here on their home court. But that is Friday. For now, we want to talk about this Rambler win. Jay Simon alongside Dan Verberkmos. And Dan, it was rough going to start, clearly. The Mustangs came out in a 2-3 zone that the Ramblers could not seem to figure anything out. The Mustangs, led by senior Connor Riley, were doing pretty much anything they wanted to do. Riley hit 2 threes, twice got into the lane for layups, found cutters at the baseline. His teammates were finishing. His teammates were hitting threes. Pulowski hit a 3 in that first half, and they pretty much looked like they could do no wrong. They led 20-8 after the first quarter, still led 28-15. Yes, 28-15 late in that second quarter. Ramblers did go on a little 5-0 run to trim it to 8 at the half. And then Bruce Copeman spewed fire and brimstone in the locker room, I can only assume. Made a few adjustments, and the Ramblers came out and went on a 21-0 run in that third quarter. It was a 28-0 run spanning the end of the second, all through the third and the start of the fourth, and basically just turned this game on its ear.
They did, and I have been right with a front row seat witness to some of those halftime speeches, I'll say speeches, that Copeman can bring. And you hit the nail on the head, Jay. When you say fire and brimstone, a lot of times he's got to get up into the grill of these guys, motivate them in it. And again, they needed to be woken up. And again, Montebello, with absolutely all the momentum early on, seemingly, as you mentioned, could do no wrong. And again, great halftime adjustments by Coach Copeman to really deny hard early and often, and double team, and sometimes, Jay, even triple team their number one threat. And again, it paid dividends in the second half.
You really got the impression, and again, I'm a volleyball guy trying to dissect basketball strategy, but you really got the impression that Copeman basically told his team, listen, Camp House is never going to leave Riley's side, number one. Number two, whoever's at the top, whatever defender is closest at the top is immediately going to double team him when he crosses half court, which they did. And then three, I felt like they were told, if Riley comes in your area, leave your man and go at him. And that's why you saw three guys a lot of times. And if a player was leaving his defender maybe a little too far, they would kind of, but it was like, I feel like the edict was he is never to have any less than two players on him at any given time. If another player hasn't come over to help, don't leave him until that player comes, right? So you had Camp House and somebody all the time.
Yes, so basically whoever's locked up with Riley has zero, and I mean zero help side responsibilities. And again, according to the detailed scouting report, and Copeman does a great job of scouting all his opponents, they're basically, by the process of elimination, leaving the least dangerous threat open on any given situation, lending help early and often from those less effective offensive players with added defense, and that's exactly right.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, this is the Northern Truck Service post-game show. Our sincere thanks to Northern Truck Service for their broadcast sponsorship of tonight's activities. We also want to let you know this broadcast brought to you in part by White Pine Boilers, LLC, the aforementioned Northern Truck Service, McBain Rural Agricultural School, High Point Cadillac GMC, McNally's Party Store, McBain and Lake City Family Pharmacy, Falmouth Co-op, McLean Transmissions, and McBain Hardware. Sincere thanks to each and every one of our broadcast partners for their support of these broadcasts here on 107.9 CDY. We appreciate your patience. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, and Rich Spicer right now is going, Jay, quit talking about the technical difficulties. I can't help it. I feel bad. I want to make sure I thank our listeners for sticking with us as the second half went much more smoothly, and we enjoyed a much better broadcast. And if you're a Rambler fan, you certainly enjoyed a much better broadcast because they came storming back to earn the victory. we've got some post-game hardware, virtual hardware to hand out here on the Northern Truck Service post-game show. And I want to start, Dan, if it's okay, with the Judy K. Gildy Picture Perfect Play of the Game, brought to you by Judy K. Gildy Photography. A lot of options in this one. And honestly, if we were being completely balanced and we're going to give this award to the potentially to the Montebello side, they had some pretty neat highlight plays in that first half as well. But this is a Rambler broadcast, and so we're going to stick to that side of it. This is where Gary earns his big bucks, and this is where you got to earn yours. What you got?
I have got to give it to Logan Rodenbaugh I'd say 2/3 of the way through that third quarter when the Ramblers were desperate to make something happen. And I believe there was a stoppage in play, Jay, and I mentioned the Ramblers got to get something going offensively to trim the lead from double down to single digits. Logan Rodenbaugh with an aggressive drive along the baseline with the bucket and then the foul, and then completed the three-point play, which then spawned that 20 whatever to 0 run, Jay.
That was the first bucket.
That honestly, that picture perfect play in my mind was the catalyst that began the whole shift of momentum for the Ramblers. I have got to give it to Logan Rodenbaugh with the three-point play 2/3 of the way through that second quarter.
I love it. Actually, it's like 5/6 of the way through that second quarter.
Right.
It was toward the end. You're absolutely right. They were down 13. That three-point play trimmed it to 10, and then they got another bucket before the end of the half to trim it to 8, and that was the spark. That was the start of the 28-0 run that, as I mentioned, I mean, turn the game around feels like it's a little too weak of a phrase, right? Just flip this game on its ear.
Yes.
Put the turtle on its back, if you will. That was the spark. So Logan Rodenbaugh, your picture-perfect play of the game, the three-point play toward the end of the second quarter, brought to you by Judy K. Gildy Photography. Well, let's go over the scoring in this one. For the Mustangs, they were paced by the aforementioned Connor Riley, the senior, who finishes with unofficially a game-high 19 points. But 12 of those came in the first half, 10 of those came in the first quarter, and probably in the opening 4 minutes, as he really established himself early and proved right off the bat that Copeman's change at halftime of double teaming him was the best course of action. If you let Connor Riley continue to go one-on-one, there's some excellent defenders on that Rambler team. I don't think anybody was staying in front of Connor Riley tonight without that kind of help. And McBain is a good help defensive team, but he was just finding open shooters and he was drawing fouls, and that wasn't going to work for them. Second half, he did go 7 of 10 from the line in the fourth quarter, but never made another field goal after getting the bucket early in the second quarter. So the Ramblers doing a great job in shutting him down in that second half. They got 9 points from Garrett Cheney, 7 of those coming in the fourth quarter. Austin Pulowski, who played with 4 fouls, never did foul out of the game, picked that fourth foul up early in the third quarter, did come back and finish the game. He ends up with 7. Lucas Lippert, the senior, finishes with 5. And Eder Lopez with a triple in the fourth quarter to round out the scoring for the Mustangs, who, again, unofficially go just 12 of 24 from the free throw line. Left a lot of points, obviously, at the charity stripe. Meanwhile, for McBain, well, they got a lot of balanced scoring in this one, just the way Bruce Copeman likes it. Garrett Verburkmos, the big man in the middle, leading the way with 15 points. Logan Rodenbaugh ends up with 13. He actually went 7 of 8 from the free throw line, so did a nice job from the charity stripe, did Logan Rodenbaugh. And then there's a whole host of others here. Devin Morris finishes with 7. Daniel Rodenbaugh finishes with 6. Connor Murphy finishes with 5. Justin Camphouse with 4, but Justin, not called upon for his offense tonight, did a great job defensively against Connor Riley. And then Daniel Quist with a bucket. Caden McGillis with a bucket. Grayson Verburkmos with 2 points. Chase Pilkis went 1 of 2 from the line, and Mason Hooker with a bucket to round it out. For the Ramblers, who also shoot 50%, 13 of 26 from the free throw line. So the two teams have combined 25 of 50 from the charity stripe. That's like me when I'm playing pickup basketball and I need to make a free throw in order to play the next game. It's usually less than a 50-50 chance, if I'm being honest. But a fine job by both teams from a defensive standpoint, and you had to like what Coach Jared Simon and the Mustangs had planned as they came out. The Ramblers just making better adjustments at halftime and answering the call. Well, let's move on to the George Johnson All Heart Award. That award created last year during football season, given in honor of George Johnson, the former assistant coach and Rambler Uber fan who passed away year and a half ago, I think it was, toward the end of the football season last year, George was really, really passionate about Rambler sports in general, and certainly basketball was his first love. And Gary Hawkeye Vanna, my usual color analyst, the instigator of that award given to the Rambler who best exhibits George's passion and effort for the game out there. And on a team where defense and rebounding are how you get minutes, most of these Ramblers are showing good passion and effort out there. So this is not an easy call either, but what you got?
Daniel Rodenbaugh. And I tell you, second half, absolute blanket on Riley. Denied him, again, a full 94 feet. Excellent hustle. On two different occasions, Jay, we actually saw him at different occasions take quite the knock to the noodle. I thought some of those alone would warrant it. But again, his defense on their number one threat is going to earn him the George Johnson All-Heart Award. Again, Daniel Rodenbaugh absolutely leaving it on the court tonight with his hard work and determination.
Well, how about the High Point High Achiever Award, brought to you by High Point Cadillac GMC, given for the Rambler with the most rebounds in the game. And I know you were kind of unofficially tallying those, but oftentimes it's pretty easy to tell who controlled the boards. And a lot of times you would say, well, it's just the tallest guy, but that's not always true. There's a number of Ramblers who do a great job rebounding, although I wouldn't be shocked if it was the tallest guy on the floor, because he did a great job of rebounding tonight. And I'll tell you right now, if you do pick that kid, I'm not going to hold it against you. That is not nepotism. So you go right ahead and tell me who you got.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to give it to Garrett Berkmos. He had some key rebounds down the stretch, and especially, I'd have to say the best rebounds he had tonight were on the offensive end of the court. Many times in transition, the Ramblers dialed up great pressure, again, on top, getting a steal. Garrett many times trailing the play, and again, not giving up, making sure he follows or runs with that offensive player, getting a lot of easy putbacks, and sometimes getting his own rebounding and going back up for two. So a little padding of his own stats, but I have to give the nod to Garrett Berkmos tonight, which is the High Point Auto High Achiever as far as top rebounder.
Our thanks to High Point Cadillac GMC, the High Point High Achiever Award, Garrett Berkmos, your winner for that one tonight. 59-46, your final here in Beale City. The McBain Ramblers defeating the Montebello Mustangs. They earned the right to play on Friday night here in Beale City, and they await the winner of the host Aggies and the Farwell Eagles. Both teams out on the floor warming up in front of us right now. But we have the most exciting 15 seconds in all of sports still ahead of us. Sorry, your wife's just going to have to wait. Unless she wants to give it, you can put her on the air. That's fine with me.
Just for the record, I didn't say that, Jay.
Nobody will tell her. It's okay. But it's time for the Hawkeye Player of the Game, brought to you by Taylor Mechanical. It's the most coveted award in all of high school sports. The Hawkeye Player of the Game. You wait around through this post-game show for these 15 seconds. It is the most exciting moment, and that's why we pay Hawkeye the big bucks. But he's not here, which means Dan has got to do it in his stead. It's a tough call tonight because this was truly a team effort by the Ramblers. But we got to give it to somebody, and that's why we're going to you again.
I'm going to give the nod to Logan Rodenbaugh. 13 points on the night, had a lot of rebounds as well. And again, second half down the stretch, just when Montebello was making a little bit of a counter punch, a little bit of a counter run, I believe it was Logan Rodenbaugh with a couple of rebounds and putbacks, and then hitting, I believe, 2 free throws in the second half to give us that little separation that we needed again to make it out of reach for Montebello.
Logan Rodenbaugh? I was typing. I apologize.
Yes, Logan Rodenbaugh is the Hawkeye Player of the Game, brought to you by Taylor Mechanical.
I like it. Congratulations to Logan. Make sure you stop by into Senior's office for your award. I don't know what it is, but I assume that it is big and heavy. 59-46, your final here in Beale City. We're kind of hoping to find Coach Coatman. I don't know if he's going into the stands to do a little scouting now at this point, or if he's still talking with his team. I haven't actually seen anybody come out of the locker room. They might be getting a little more fire and brimstone to make sure they're ready for Friday, for all I know. It's a distinct possibility. But I think we're going to thank the good Lord above for a second half that went error-free from a technical standpoint. Our thanks to Isaac Cope of the Rambler Review for bailing us out with his hot spot that allowed us to bring you this second half. And our thanks to Beale City's athletic department for their hospitality on tonight's game. Dan, any final thoughts on this one?
No, I tell you what, tonight we just got to make sure, biggest thing we got to learn from that game. Again, every time you go in the court, you got to bring something back. What did you learn as an individual? What did you learn as a team? Like, even though it's late in the season, it's never too late to improve. Slow starts. We got to make sure we have a good, fast start, especially if Beale City wins this game on their home floor for a district final. We cannot afford to have a slow start again if Beale City wins this one against Fargo on Friday night in their home gym.
That'll do it for us from the Bermuda Triangle of the Highland Conference. For our producer and engineer, Zach Wiggins and Rich Spicer, for Danver Berkmos, I'm Jay Simon. Again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, folks. We will be back Friday night as we bring you the district final, the McBain Ramblers against either the Beale City Aggies or the